Welcome to our show. Today we have a very interesting topic to discuss, and that is space colonization. When we talk about space colonization, it is an expansion of human society upon common objective and of course objection for colonizing in a commodification way. See of the cosmos, and see though we are planning. I mean, human race is planning. And why we are not in anyone so far, because there's a lot of technical and economical challenge. So we need to support the whole of the humankind, the needs of humankind in the space. So it's quite a difficult task. And I think it's also impractical when on Earth only we are engaged in war. We have situations like economic inequality and of course temperamental equations don't gel many times. So it is becoming, it is becoming, and I think scientists think about all these parameters when we think of space colonization, because we have to pursue our dream of going out in cosmos, creating our home there, leaving Earth with a controlled economical, ecological life support system. And there we need a lot of personal training and other educational skill to really go and live in our space. To discuss this more, we have Srivastava, who has a deep interest in corporate trainings. He is also my colleague. He is associated with radio broadcasting. A part of this, he is also a very good reader when it comes to space and heavenly bodies. So welcome to the show, Sitesh. How are you?
Mangal. How are you, Kanchan? It's a great day. How have you been?
Yeah,
I see you.
Yeah, I'm fine, and I am really so excited to know your views about colonizing space. So I thought, let me think more ideas how eventually we can go travel in the space in an air spacecraft.
Kanchan.
Yes.
Yes, Kanchan. So Kanchan, I remember one great statement by a famous scientist, Stephen Hawking. He said that if humans do not plan to leave the planet in 100 years, they may not be. A lot of predictions, lot of discussions, lot of theories and papers and facts and fiction about a human extinction. And because of that human extinction, this is being planned that humans should move out of this planet, and then they should try to colonize their solar system partners. Venus is one candidate. Mars has been better candidates, though from a perspective of similarities, but there are much more tempting visions about Mars, and therefore, and Mars has been from the folklore, from mythology, and from the various world cultures, Mars has always been observed in the sky as a red dot, bigger, and therefore discussion about escaping the planet better future for the human race finds its charm. And there have been more or less the government interventions, government laboratories like NASA, like from USA, and then ISRO from India, CNSA, Chinese National Space Organization, and many more, Japan Space Agency, European space agencies. Recently, in the last decade or so, there have been private space flight companies also have come up. For example, SpaceX by Elon Musk and Virgin Galactic, and there are several others as well. So there is a great demand that is going to be generated over the decades, centuries, and beyond centuries to have some kind of rovers or orbiters to actually explore the surface. Mars is easier to explore, it seems, as compared to Venus or Jupiter or Saturn. You know, it's more or less the number of hours is 24 hours, 39 minutes, 35 seconds a day, which is also called sol on Martian lingo. And from a rotation point of view, around the sun, it is 687 days. Red soil of that planet suggests the soil had been fertile. The recent orbiters or the rovers have also shown some craters, rivers, volcanoes. So there is a lot of hope for humanity. What do you think?
Well, I think is that Mars, as you say, is one of the candidates where human can race really look. But what I feel is Venus is more better because we can make a cloud city on Venus, because there is a possibility of getting 21% kind of oxygen, and then we have 50% carbon dioxide. So that is a better candidate actually. So see the view when we have a cloud city on Venus and we are floating, and see we are floating among these beautiful clouds, and also watching our Earth from there. So that will be a very, very magnificent scene, isn't it?
No wonder you said that, and that's why somebody had said women are from Venus and men are from Mars. I'm sure. So we will definitely get into a debate about Mars or Venus, and I think the space agencies across the world, the astronomers, the astronauts, and the scientific community is actually too much bent on learning which one is the best for human colonization. The importance of the human colonization is not just carrying humans from this planet to another planet. I also think that it is important to colonize it in a way which actually is a best practice and then try to settle down there. So we recently in this 2020 we had a UAE mission by UAE Space Agency, which is called HOPE. It will schedule to reach Mars on February 2021. Then we have a Tianwen-1 by China, Mars 2020 by NASA, then ExoMars program by Roscosmos and the European Space Agency. Roscosmos is the Russian. And then we have our ISRO's Mars Orbiter Mission 2. So there are two distinct stuff here. One is the orbiter, one is the rover. Now, rover is the one which actually gets to the soil, whether it is Mars or I think we have only planned only Mars rovers. Nobody has planned Venus rovers yet. So I think it is important the amount of money, the amount of effort, time that has been spent on Mars. I think in another 10 to 30 years, Kanchan, we will live to see, I will live to see the first humans going to the Mars. Though it is a one-way ticket as of now, given the speed of the rocket or carrying the humans, but I think I would live to see the first humans going there. I would love to sign up for that as well, even if it is for a one-way trip, because that is like those people who reached the moon in 1969. They said one small step for mankind, and that is the kind of things happen. Statements would come when we land on Mars, and I think it is important for us to study and we need to encourage, the governments need to encourage the private space flight as well, so that not just for the fun purpose, as we also see that angle, but more from the cost of traveling to the outer space should be reduced, and it should probably get free from the government clutches that it is as of today.
Well, you vote for Mars and I vote for Venus. Why? Let me tell you. At present, it has been established that the gravity of Mars is 0.38 times that the Earth, and will be insufficient to avoid the decrease of muscle mass and, of course, bone decalcification. And a part of this, Venus is closer to Earth, and the size is somehow similar to Earth, and it is the surface area. The gravity surface is also very near to Earth parameters what we need. So the most exploration and colonization, I think, will be more appropriate if we focus on Venus, and especially when on a cloud city, because Venus as a planet is very harsh, but above that Venus we have that kind of, we can create that kind of atmosphere for human survival.
Yes, Kanchan, and I am beyond the science, beyond the facts, beyond the maths that is around it and known already. I always keep thinking about the behavioral aspects of humans reaching either to Venus or to Mars, as we have seen in the movie Avatar and countless other movies of the science fiction. I think it would be important that we carry with us a new thought, a new society, probably a utopian society rather than a dystopian society. We should carry egalitarianism with us to the different planets when we go there. As per one of the studies that I was studying, reading some time back, the first humans, when they reach Mars, and then they start mutating or creating children on the Mars, the Mars-specific humans, probably we may not even call them humans, we may call them something else. So today we call them humans. The humans specific, customized, specific for the Mars will only start to be seen in 60,000 years from the day the humans land on the red planet. So probably this math could differ when if humans land on Venus. My whole-hearted support for the scientific community, because what we have seen on this planet and the way climate change is happening in last 70 or 100 recorded years, Kanchan, it's a worrying concern about the viability of the planet, population that this planet is feeding into, and therefore it's important for us to land on. Probably moon can be used as a station, a junction to jump towards the Mars. So I believe these a lot of books have been written. Around 41 novels are based on just Mars. And very popular one, Mars Trilogy by Kim Stanley Robinson, Red Mars, Green Mars, Blue Mars, and We have seen recently some Martian a movie called Martian, and so I must think that scientific community, along with the behavioral scientists, along with the psychologists, and a whole human population should participate in thinking what kind of colonization we are planning in our solar system, because that will set up a precedence for future centuries later, when we would try to go beyond our solar system. Our some of the orbiters or satellites, they have already left the solar system. They are into the deep space in our galaxies, and it is very important what do we carry from here and how do we plan it there. Anyway, it will take its own shape because gravity is different, atmosphere is different, soil is different, and there are so many different factors which we don't even know as of today.
Yes, I think as you are looking for Mars settlement, and I agree. When it comes to Venus, we have some crucial point which are making delaying this colonization dream. First is that it is very hot on the surface of Venus, and second, it is 90 times the atmosphere pressure on Venus is 90 times more than Earth. So it makes difficulty in really going on the surface of Venus, though in Soviet Union has already sent Venera 5 and Venera 6 to do study, but then it got damaged, even only 18 kilometers of surface, from the surface of Venus. So these are few things which are making the research and development of any cosmos settlement. But yes, scientists are thinking of a floating city on Venus, which is which is appropriate for human settlement, because the oxygen level is that we can maintain in that particular bed. So I look forward and I vote for Venus Sky City rather than going on Mars, and starting from very fresh, taking a printer also will help, especially in Mars, because there is scarcity of water in both the planets. Not only in Venus, but Mars also we have a lot of, there's a scarcity of water. So all these are hindrance in our dream, in our plans for traveling and making a settlement in the cosmos. But we are working, and I'm voting for Sky City on Venus.
Well, I can already see that you are traveling already in the outer space with your Akulmach logo, and thankfully that still the Earth is still to be seen in the background. So I hope you will not go too far and you will carry, but there will be a time when we would say to our friends, hey, I have an uncle living on Mars, or I have an aunt living in Venus. I'm going for a vacation on these places. And this is not a pipe dream, Kanchan. Nobody knew that this was possible hundreds back. And I'm sure that in 100 years from now, 300 years from now, this would be like, taking a plane from Delhi to Chicago. Yeah, and I wish that happens, and humans have better prospects. They have a better, rather, let us not use the word colonization, because that has got some negative connotations on our planet. Let's say something else, probably some other word which we need to think. And therefore, it is important for us to move beyond the planet. Probably then we would be able to appreciate when we are far from our planet, Earth. Then we would appreciate, as humans generally appreciate when things are not around them or they are far from the things. And that will open up the real possibility of interplanetary travel. And once in few hundred years we are there and interplanetary travel becomes easier, then humans or the whoever in the Martian people or Venus people, they would then take exploration towards intergalactic travel like we saw in the movie Interstellar.
Yes, definitely. But I also want to put forward one more crucial point is that in case if you want to travel to outer space, we have to do a little bit training in terms of matching our IQ, matching our custom distributions rather than we have to seamlessly and very accurately press our differences down and come up as we say in Hindi, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, and we have that kind of temperament to really travel because then we otherwise we will be taking a war from here to galactic level, I guess. So I think it's also need a lot of training, a lot of patience, which is very, very important. In case we really want to settle down and take human race to the outer space, what are your ideas on this front?
So, as I mentioned, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is the European society that we all dream for. And that has been more or less an acceptable concept for the human beings to be on this planet. At the same time, there are challenges in a utopian society, and there are limits to Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam as well. And then we have some thought process of a dystopian society, which is just an antonym of the utopian society. And then it comes about the equality of human beings, which is also called egalitarianism. But again, what I think is that these are the human concepts that we have developed. We are dealing with a space which is unknown. Unknown because there are so many other factors which we still don't know. I can't even claim that we know 50% of the Mars exploration today. As long as the first human beings don't set up their foot on Venus or Mars, we would not be able to say that. So whether Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam or other of what kind of societies we are going to create, we don't know. Other thing is that what kind of societies they will eventually become, we really don't know. So it is important for us. You know, there was some mission many years back, I remember, by NASA, which they sent out to the outer space, which actually passed from our solar system and went into the out of our solar system into the galaxy, and it is carrying so many languages written on a golden plaque by multiple cultures, multiple languages. Probably some alien somewhere be able to read and figure out from where it is coming. So we are dealing with the unknown. The way these budgets are being passed is all in the positive dreams, good dreams for the humanity, best dreams for safeguarding this planet. But we really don't know on that side. When we reach there, we will know. So I hope our wisdom prevails. Our scientific community is prepared, and the kind of news that we read today, we should read more and more. And I think our children in the schools, space exploration should become and why this has not been as a schools from a very early age is something that baffles me.
Yes, it should be taught schools because we are really planning and space now opening up all new scientific research in this particular arena. So I think we should have a separate subject like cosmos or space where children from a very early age should know rather than it be a part of geography or history or civil science. So I really agree on this point because it is very, very essential. First of all, when you have that kind of knowledge, you should also have a life skill knowledge to really living in space. That should also be a part of curriculum, because in any way we have to live. Suppose a human race goes on in space, and they have to live in a controlled ecological life support system. Now on Earth we are wasting, we are destroying our habitat every day. So that is also a part of learning. We have to start, especially now. In case you are maybe after 100 years, you are seeking to have a settlement in any of these planets, any of either in space, you have to prepare our young generation to live on Earth in a better way, and then plan and go how we have to reach in space and create a separate, maybe second living space in the space.
Correct. Until all this happens, let me go and have a bite of my favorite Mars chocolate.
It was so wonderful to talk to you, Siddesh. We'll discuss some other interesting topic in our next episode. Till then, bye-bye. Take care.
Land well, Kanchan. Thank you.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Akulmach Live, and I am Chandrakant. We all know that the Olympics are going on in Tokyo. It's a global competition. Lot of players with a lot of big dreams are with each other. It is similar to what we do in business. You know, all the senior players, they actually partner, but also compete with each other with their dreams. And dreams is such an important subject. To discuss this, I will be joined by a very senior industry colleague of mine from Singapore, and he will tell us what you should do when you have a dream, how you can achieve your dream, and in case of a failure, what you should do. It's a very, very important discussion, friends. Don't go anywhere. I'll be taking a break for small promo messages, and I'll be joining back along with my guest. Welcome back, friends. And today we have a very distinguished guest in our studio, Kotom. He is joining us from Singapore. Interestingly, he was, a choreographer in one of the Olympic Games, and also himself being a champion, a Canadian champion. So, graciously, I'd like to welcome Kevin to our show. How are you, Kevin?
I'm great. Thank you so much, Chandra. It's really great to be back again and to be with you in the show. And also, it's just been nice listening to some of your stories before this. So thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. In fact, Tokyo Olympics are going on, and all the nations are fighting. All teams are basically fighting out in different games, and that requires a lot of mental endurance, feeling of mission, accomplishment. And I think that is the right topic to discuss with you, because you have been working with a lot of chief executives and training them with your mentorship. So keeping the Olympic as a subject, how do we train ourselves? How do we basically have dreams and make sure our dreams come true? You have any thought on that?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a great subject about dreams. And a lot of the time, all of the athletes, or many of the athletes, are there creating and living a dream. The dream is always for an athlete to become an Olympian, and then, of course, become an Olympic champion. I'll just share with you a little bit about my story and how that sort of came about, and dreams. So dreams are very interesting. And when I was a young kid, I had dreams of becoming an Olympic competitor, to standing on that podium, and I would see every morning, every night before I go to bed, I'd visualize about being on that podium, how it smelled like, what it felt like. It was going to be an amazing time. I was a figure skater, and I was a figure skater ice dancer, and I became a junior Canadian champion, and we excelled, my partner and I, very, very fast. And we were the youngest in Canada at that time, which is back in the dark ages, in actual fact. So very, very long time ago. However, sometimes things get in the way. Your life changes. And so what happened was my partner and I split up. And then my father passed away. And so I had challenges with finances. And figure skating being a very expensive sport, that dream really come to fruition again. However, that's actually not true. The dream did come true. And the dream came true in a very different way, in that I didn't realize my trajectory after that. And so I then became a dancer, and then I became a choreographer for National World Olympic Champions, figure skaters. And I also dabbled in other artistic sports like synchronized swimming, and I was choreographed for the Olympic champions in '88. And then I was invited, and also I won the bid with a colleague to put on and direct and choreograph the closing ceremonies of the Olympics in Calgary. I mean, I can't say how amazing that was. I mean, it was just like being in the family. It was being really living your dream. But I didn't have the dream of actually being a competitor. But the universe sometimes works in a very peculiar way. And I became the other side, on the other side of in the organization. That was actually more interesting to me, ultimately. So maybe the universe has another goal for you, another dream for you, and another way. So the dream was there, but it came in a different way. And I think that's what happens a lot of the times, is that we hold on too tight to one dream, and sometimes we get very upset because it's not happening. But you know what? Let go. Dream it, let it go like a goal, and just let it happen, because it may appear and come back at you in a very different way. You just haven't realized it. So yeah, I mean, these dreams are amazing, but you don't know what the universe has in store for you.
Kevin, when you say that you dream, but don't hold on to it, then in that case, how do we base our dream? I think it's a big subject, because when we dream, we have to chase it, we have to accomplish it. So if we say that, hey, just dream it and let it happen as per the universal law, how are we going to push ourselves to achieve that dream?
I mean, again, it depends on which direction that you're coming from. I mean, we can look at dreams as goals, out possibilities, and we're working towards them. I think sometimes there is a little bit too much holding tight to the ultimate dream. I'm not saying that we don't drive ourselves and to be able to find ways and to improve ourselves to move towards this dream, whether it be Olympics or whether it be World Championships or might be the CEO of an organization. But what I'm saying here is that keep moving and keep educating or keep training or keep moving towards this, but don't hold on so tightly that you'll be disappointed. Because one of the problems is we get disappointed because we're not achieving that dream on different levels. But in actual fact, we just may. But it may have said, in many ways, maybe that wasn't the dream that you wanted, but this is another dream that is actually better for you. And I think that's where we get lost, is because we hold too tight. And we need to hold a little bit looser, and let's see, what is that path road that's going to take me? And that happened for me, and has happened many, many, is my path road has been a dream or a goal to get somewhere, but it got somehow, because the learning had to take me in a different direction. And I feel much more happier for that, even though I was like, why didn't I get that? Why haven't I achieved that? but we have to let go of that. There's something bigger in it.
I think when you're saying this, I think it's making a lot of sense, because what happens is that if you hold on to a dream very tight and if you don't achieve that, then it gives you a feeling of despair, so which is very, very dangerous. So I think I understand your point now, that you dream, but exert yourself achieving it, but don't think about the result too much, because the result is not in your hand. Isn't it, Kevin?
Absolutely. You know, and it's very interesting is that I read an article, a yoga article one time, and it was talking about expectations, and it was very similar to dream. You know, we have this expectation of how something should be. We have how it should exist, what is the outcome. This is expectation. And what happens is that we create this in our head very much, and we lock it in. And we lock this in, and we go on towards that expectation or what that might be. But there's many the road that make it more important or might divert you. Might be, oh, I want to try instead. And we have this expectation going forward. And if we do achieve that expectation, it's never the same as we have created it, because so much has come in that journey to get there. And I think that is the best place, is the journey. And that, you know, for me, my journey, but also for these Olympians, that is their journey to get there. And it's the hard work, the tenacity, the building of strength, the building of technique, the building of skill to get there. That is their goal, and to reach the element of height. But not everybody can win, right? And then if you don't, and you've let everything, then you're disappointed, as you say.
I think in many ways, this journey of an Olympian can also be equated with a journey of a senior executive. And I'm sure you come across a lot of senior executives asking for help from you, because sometimes, you know, even a person like me can get stuck. Anybody can get stuck, and they don't know where is the path, and in order to achieve their dream. So in those cases, how do you, or what is your method of taking people along with your rich experience? And you have been a sportsman, and sports is really the ultimate training that anyone can have. So how do you train the senior executives in business to achieve their goals?
Yeah. Wow, that's a big question. And, you know, I equate, and many people equate, is the executives, the top executives are really corporate athletes, because you have to have the stamina, you have to have the endurance, you have to have the skill, you have to have the will, you have to have the mindset to get there. And I think a lot of it is in the mindset. For example, athletes talk considerably about mindset, having the right, focusing on their mindset. They talk about mindset. And one of the things in organizations, they never talk about mindset enough. They talk about skill, and they never get to mindset. But the mindset is what's driving skill. And so for corporate, athletes, which are the executives, and I say anybody that is moving anywhere within an organization, they're athletic. They need a stamina. They need a muscle. They need to have that muscle. And so what I think is actually important is understanding what type of mindset that you have. And that is one thing that I work with my clients on, is understanding what is the mindset that they have. And you know, as I've talked to you before about my book, The Nomadic Mindset, it is about what is the nomadic mindset, and also what is the builder mindset and what is the settler mindset. And so we talk about all those three. But one of the things that I think is extremely important in the process is that in the coaching that I do with my clients is we talk about, the goal they want to achieve, or just, the reflection. And what happens with senior executives is they don't have a lot of people to talk to just freely, and just allowing them with no sort of qualms. And I think that's what a coach does. And what we do with that is that I help them to go and I bounce with, call it bouncing, is that I bounce from idea to idea, or I bounce with them to where they're going. And this part of that journey towards that goal or dream or whatever that they have, because it's never a straight line. Never a straight line. And if you think it's a straight line, good luck, because it's not. And so this bouncing gives them that freedom to be able to get to their dream in a different way, because they are able to bounce thoughts, ideas, reflections, and then they're able to find a new path to a new solution, a new way. But this is building the muscle inside, which is the nomadic muscle, which is the agility, the adaptability, is the looking for paths, looking for creativity, opportunities, possibilities, questioning, listening. And that is how I work with them. And it's very exciting. And they love it because they say, we start off somewhere and we don't know where we're going, even though I think we're going in a place. But I love the way you bounce with me, or you stand by my side and we travel together. And that I love. And it's just being.
With the pandemic hitting the entire world, the old methods of doing management is sort of not relevant anymore. And does this, this behavior or behavioral change today that you see among customers and chief executives, does it change your strategy also, or your strategy is is not dependent on what is going on post-pandemic?
It's I think the strategies are different, absolutely, and I think that the world has changed, and I think that definitely we need to think we have to think in a very different way. And I think that what's happened is that we got ourselves caught in between old, new, but what is the future? But we're still traversing this sort of void of how do we lead, what is important about dealing with our employees, how do we deal with remote work, how do we see hybrid working, how do we see communication, how do we see socializing, how do we come together as a different community. At the same time, how do we lead with this square box now a lot of the time? And that takes a very different skill, but it also takes a different mindset, because now it is more flowing, it's fluid, it's more movement. It's always been, it's just now it's very much about movement, mind, movement of the ideas, movement of people, movement of just everything is in movement constantly. It always has been, it's just now the focus is around that. And I think that this takes a different mindset and a different vision, but it takes a different dream as well, because this can become another Olympic dream in some ways, for an organization.
Absolutely, Kevin. In fact, what is going on right now is that we are totally clueless how the business will go, where it will go, how it will shape up. And the next 10 years are very, very crucial. So if somebody has to take help from, a guru like you, what are the ways they can leverage your skill? And is there a method which they can reach out to you, like an email or a phone call? Or what do you propose to our viewers?
I think that, thank you very much for that question. And, I'll divide that up in that, we are moving into a very different world. We need to evolve. And I think that that's one of the things that has challenged many people is evolution, because we think change in some ways to me is very horizontal. Change doesn't have a lot of consciousness necessarily. It has a conscious change shift, but it doesn't have a growth in consciousness. I think where we're going is change has to evolve. And so we need to move to a more awareness and consciousness of of a bigger picture. And I think that's where, in the big picture, it is about really thinking globally. It's about finding the interconnectivity of all systems and ecosystems and understanding that they are, but to honor all of them. Otherwise, we are so separate. And that is what my research has done, and what has also helped my clients in understanding, opening up the subject about the future, opening it up and really exploring it and discovering it and the possibilities and how I can fit in, or they fit in, as I should say. And I think that that is one of the greatest things that can come out of COVID, is this exploration of the possibilities. But we need to get back to, it's a whole, it's the holisticness, it's the understanding that everything is in movement and everything is interconnected, all these ecosystems. So people can get in touch with me, sure, absolutely. They go to my website at www.thenomadicmindset.com, or they can contact me at my name, kevin@kevincottam.com. And yeah, or Google me and you can see what I've done, or go to my YouTube, or on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is always the best place, you know. So, and I you know, one of the things that we talked about once before, and that is reflection. And I think that's what coaching is about reflection. And what really helps executives, because they say, I don't have time for it. And I think this time we need to spend that. And if they cannot spend it on their own or find it, then we can do it together. You know what's interesting is that I found that one of the greatest things to do is actually, from COVID, is going walking with my executives. Because we go walk and we converse with each other, but we're also exercising. And when you exercise, you become more creative. When you're walking, you become more creative. And so these ideas start to flow more rather than just sitting, you know. And that has been very, very wonderful on many levels, not only for myself, but for them.
Kevin, I think this also gives me an idea, because, you know, I like to share something from my own career. You know, whenever I used to basically call somebody, hey, let's discuss business, they will say, oh, no, CK, we don't want to discuss business. Maybe next week. Can you call us back next week and we'll talk about it? So then I really found it's like a wall that you're hitting. You know, people don't want to discuss business. And then I changed my strategy. I said, hey, are you open for some drinks? And people, you know, almost every time they'll say, yeah, why don't you come? Let's meet at Jeffrey's and we'll have a couple of pints. So I think that was important. And I think what you're trying to tell us today is that you go walk the talk with the chief executive, and that will really help them, you know, because they will get new ideas from you and all that. And you actually gave coordinates, but viewers, you can reach out to us also, and we can make that connection happen. If just in case if you are stuck in achieving your dreams, and achieving dream is very important, never stop dreaming. And Kevin is here to help us to achieve our dreams. So in case if you're not able to trace him out on LinkedIn or on the internet, you can reach out to us on the email mentioned at the end of the program or in the description below, and we will make that connection happen. Kevin, thank you so much for coming over to our show today and discussing something so important about dreams.
Thank you very much, and you're helping me with this dream. It's so a dream of sharing to everyone in the world. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Kevin, and we will catch up next week, same time, for something even more interesting.
Hello friends, welcome to Akulmach Live. And today we have a wonderful guest. She is Ritu Gupta, and let's welcome her first. Hi, welcome to the show. Ritu. How are you doing today?
I'm absolutely fine. Thank you, Kanchan.
Great. And today is Janjatiya Divas, as news today, and it is quite an important day because today is the birth anniversary of Birsa Munde, who is a very popular tribal leader and who has done so much for Munde community in Jharkhand. And Ritu, that this celebration is also done not only in Jharkhand but other states also. So, first of all, I would like to ask you how are you doing today? And today, since it's a day, so we'll be discussing about Birsa Munda.
Yes, absolutely fine. Thank you. I'm fine. And I think it's a very good initiative of the government of India that they have today declared the birthday of Birsa Munda as the tribal day, because the tribal community, it needs to get uplifted also. It needs some kind of motivation also. And why not? Why not identify a person from their community who has fought in the freedom fighting of India, who stood against the Britishers, and who also spoke about not to get into conversion, because the Britishers, they were converting the Munda community into Christianity, which he raised his voice about. He said that this is not right. We should be in our own community, and let's
So we were talking about Birsa Munda, and you know that beside the tradition and culture, he made it sure for the community, for tribal community to enhance their past, to enhance their culture, and that is a big contribution from Birsa Munda, because in ancient time, and not in ancient time, but about when the Britishers were ruling and we were not free, and that point of time, somebody who raised from a such a small beginning and rose to a level where people started saying him as a god and comparing him as a god. So what is your thought process when you really see these kind of people, and what is their contribution? Let our viewer listen from you, what you think about this day and this person.
I think Birsa Munda came from a very humble background, and you really need to have gut, you really need to have determination, and you really need to be very clear in your brains, because a person who is made of steel and who is very clear what he or she wants to do can only do such a thing, because ultimately he was arrested and he died all jail, but then he had no personal life too. His only focus was community, and his community people, the Munda community, looked up to him as the god, although he was a normal human being, but then they looked up to him as a god. And during that time, the Munda community, some people started thinking that it is a religion, although it's not a religion, it's just one of the caste of the tribal community. But then he did so much for the community, he raised so much of awareness among the youth of the community that they should not fall for any kind of luring by the Christianity to change into their religion. So I think the person has to have grit during that time when India was not an independent country. It was being ruled by the Britishers. We had British Raj. So after so many years, the Munda community has suddenly become very popular because of the present government and the music which is made in him. I think it is a very good start by the government, because the people from this community, the youth from this community, they are being shown a way that where they can get education, they can uplift themselves, they can do much better things in their life. It's a very good thing, and the all initiative for this goes to Birsa Munda himself from the community, because even now the tribal communities in our country, they are not doing so well, which they should have been doing. Very few people from the tribal community, they get out of their villages, out of the interiors, get do the mainstream job. Otherwise, if you see, the most of the tribal people, they are very poor and they are only into agriculture. They are not that's not even the the modern scientific agriculture which they are doing. So I think now the things will change. Now the
Yeah,
things
that's
is going to change.
definitely actually.
Yeah.
And Birsa Munda has a name when we're talking about freedom fighters in Indian history. And a part of this, the kind of government he declared as Jan Jatiya Devas, which is very, very important because
Yes.
now there is a consolidated uh, the history, the kind of work this person has done for the community, and of course for the freedom struggle of India. And though his birthday is being celebrated in Ranchi for many years, but this kind of weightage, this kind of importance which is being given by current government is something which has to be appreciated. And what I feel, Ritu, is that time has come that all freedom fighter who's being forgotten by us, who we don't see their name in our textbook. I think we
Yes.
should come out with these kind of contribution of these people who is being ignored so far. So, what your idea about this?
I absolutely agree with you. There are so many freedom fighters who have been ignored, or their name. I mean, we don't really know their names, and we should know about them. The kids who go to the schools, they should know about the history of India. They should know about the freedom fighters, the people who really fought the war. And we the people, we the normal people, we should also do some kind of research work, and should we can start some kind of small community work in their name, so that the future
Yes, actually, definitely, and I think freedom is it is not. We always think that freedom is very cheap. We are free, so that we don't count the value of freedom, because freedom always costs soldiers. It also costs the freedom fighters who has given, who has initiated, and their contribution only we are breathing freely nowadays. So I think this is a good gesture which is done by the government, and I think we should cooperate, people should appreciate, and they should recall on
yes,
daily right.
I agree with you, because it is very important that their name taken. Everyone in India should know their name, and I think there should be chapters in CBSC. In the syllabus should be changed where their names should be inculcated, so that the kids then get to know about them. And I think it's a very good initiative that a museum has been named in Birsa Munda. In the same way, we can start schools, hospitals, we can start small community programs also in naming after various freedom fighters. So this way, they are not here, but this their name stays alive among us, the Indians of the free India.
Yes, actually, I also want to inform our viewers that there is a statue of Birsa Munda which is being scheduled. It will be built it will be placed in Ranchi. A part of this, I think some minister was also proposing a film. I think again this is a good gesture, and today is a day
Yes.
you and me, but everybody should feel proud about the people who are associated with our history, with our
Abs-
culture, with our freedom struggle, right? So,
yes.
last thoughts about Birsa Munda, or anything you want to contribute in today's discussion?
Also, what I want to just add on to something, that the people, they should take lesson from him, the lesson from his doings, because in present times also we need to really do something for our country in whatever manner we can do. We really don't need to spend money, but by giving our time, our effort, our brain, the strategies, we can make changes in the country. And in the same manner, the educated people like you and me, we can contribute towards the upliftment of the society, and we can also let people know about the tribal community. That's what the government of India, they want, that people should know about the tribal community, because tribal community is basically a very rich community. The handlooms, the handicrafts, the decorative items, they all come from Jharkhand, and all these places are made by these people, which decorate our living rooms. So we should know that how rich this community is, and their contribution towards the culture of this country.
Yes, and with lot of respect and maybe a naman to this freedom fighter, I'll just end today's discussion, and we'll meet again with some important and interesting discussion next.
Absolutely. Thank
Thanks.
you.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you so much. Thank you.
Yes, so we were discussing about Birsa Munda, and today is his birth and it's a good day which is being initiated by India. It's good we see these kind of profile on our television and get to know about them. And I think it's a matter of pride for all of us to remember Birsa Munda and likewise and more freedom fighters. So we'll be meeting again with some other interesting discussion in next time. Till then, bye bye.